Hi, I'm Adam Loewen, and this is my book. You see it up there anyway. The Spiral Stairs. I'll read you maybe some chapters from this sucker. How do you like that? Um, it's not much to be entertained with in my face. It's kind of like an audiobook, but here we go. The Spiral Stairs, Book 1 of the Revelation Complex trilogy. It starts out with quote, Part 1. O brother, what's the use of climbing? God's angel, he who guards the gate, would not let me pass through to meet my punishment. Outside that gate the skies must circle round as many times as they did when I lived, since I delayed good sighs until the end, unless, before then, I am helped by prayer that rises from a heart that lives in grace. What use are other prayers ignored by heaven? That's from Purgatorio by Dante. Chapter 1. The nameless man stares at his own hands, waiting for it all to make sense. Some unconscious melody causes his fingers to quiver uncontrollably. His hands, his arms, his clothing, all are stained brilliant red like shining wildfire. Artificial daylight fills the large cell room from overhead lamps, hidden in the grooves of the ceiling. He looks around himself and sees the posters all staring back. They cover the walls. They have him surrounded. They are cartoons and photographs, snapshots of other worlds with captions of morality, wisdom, and common sense. They judge him. And a voice comes forth from nowhere, and the nameless man hears. Why do you judge your brother? It says, for we shall all stand before the judgment seat. These words are from the book whose title means the book. The posters can see it lying open to a random page at the foot of the nameless man's bed. They can see him trying to escape into himself, trying to escape into his own trembling hands. They can hear his heart pounding, pulsing, pushing blood. They are practically inside of him, feeling the constriction and compression of pain in his body. Somebody must know who the nameless man is, who the voice is. The voice arises from silence and says, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. It makes no difference what that means. It makes no difference when this is happening. The nameless man has no memories, no past or future. He has no knowledge. He can feel his heart pulsing. He can use his eyes to see his hands. These are all parts of a body without a name. He calls himself nobody sometimes. Nobody. He is nobody. His eyes let loose the first tear from an endless reservoir. It lands on the thigh of his pants. Drip. His pants will dry. He will forget. The posters will still be here. And they can see the motionless body on the floor draining empty of blood, a slumped shape in a black uniform, the caseworker. His throat mangled open, the ragged gash shining guilty red and pink against brown skin. The last of his life trickling gently into a growing pool. The posters can see the cell door not bolted shut, but standing open. Escape. Freedom. This is what the nameless man has bought with the caseworker's blood. And yet he makes no move. None of this matters. There can be no consequence, no understanding, no escape. Not for a man trapped in a single never-ending moment. Whatever happens, his only choice is whether to accept or endure it. He can't remember why he killed the caseworker. He doesn't feel angry. Gabriel, the nameless man says out loud. That's his name. And he hears the living word of God from the book of Romans. So then every one of us shall give account of himself to God. Ever present and beyond time, the voice of God thunders yet whispers from within the nameless man's mind. He's so shocked and rattled that he barely hears anything at all. He can't comprehend the meaning of, for every one of us shall give account of himself, echoing endlessly. I did it. I fucking killed Gabriel, he whimpers out loud. The words are distant. He can't believe them. It must be a dream. He will wake up. Time will resume. There will be no death if he can just wake up. But the posters know the truth, and that people upstairs know, and God knows. And in his limited way, nobody knows. This dream of the nameless man is all there is. Sometimes he falls asleep in his prison bed, into deeper dreams, but there is no waking up from the prison. "I cut open Gabriel's throat," the nameless man insists. "I killed him." Still nothing happens. No response. The posters can see the murder weapon, a crude plastic blade, sitting next to Gabriel's body. They do not attack. Nothing is moving. "It's time to get out of here," nobody tells himself. "Move!" He commands but can't comply. "You need to write this all down so you won't forget." "What am I supposed to write with?" he asks. He can't remember. He forgets everything. "Security will be here any minute." "What minute?" he asks absently. There are no security guards rushing to the entrance. Time has stopped, maybe forever. There is a sense of vicious serenity to this unlocked prison cell with its dead body and frozen nameless man. His eyes are stuck on his trembling fingers coated in shining red. He notices that his lungs are forcing air through his constricted throat. He hears himself confess again. "I didn't know. I didn't mean to." "Move!" his mind shouts at him. He stands, shaking, witnesses his field of view rising from atop a rickety scaffolding of muscles and leg bones. Many of these parts are swollen and throbbing. He must have been beaten up pretty bad. It feels like he was thrown down a flight of stairs. Gabriel fought back. That would explain it. The pain is strangely dull and tingly, like he's on some sort of pain medication. He slaughtered his caseworker moments ago, on purpose. His hands open and close in response to this thought, then drop to his sides. He stands in front of the bed, knees trembling fiercely. "Don't look at the body. Just get to the door. Down the hallway. Whatever exists after the hallway. Just go. Just keep going. Fly out of here." The posters weigh him down, hold him in place. From one image on the wall overlooking the nameless man's bed, a cartoon police officer with a huge mustache holds up an octagonal sign. "Stop! Murderer!" An elderly woman with a shopping cart points her finger. "Somebody must stop this man! Don't let him get away!" Some of the posters sneer. Some of them appear shocked or suspicious. Some seem to be urging him on. "Go! Get out! Run!" It's all so confusing to the nameless man. The majority of the posters hover in the background like innocent bystanders, seeing everything. The nameless man's lips move, his throat opens, he hears himself beg, "Please, God, I give up. I quit. Get me out of here. Punish me. Save me." The voice gives no immediate answer, but only after a moment of apprehensive silence it lights up with a generic sounding. "For he shall have judgment without mercy, he that showeth no mercy." And the nameless man hears his own tiny voice say, "Am I going to hell?" The posters hear his voice crack into a whine. "Please don't let me go to hell, God." The voice interrupts his whining. "Therefore judge nothing before the time until the Lord come, who both will bring to light the hidden things of darkness, and will make manifest the counsels of hearts." Nobody waits for the voice to finish, then asks, "Are you listening to me?" No response. He begins stepping forward again, and in the effort he forgets not to look at Gabriel. The caseworker's heart, for one, has stopped making manifest its counsels. The blood is all out on the floor. An uncontrollable stream of tears comes loose from the nameless man and joins the puddle. Drip, drip, drip. His eyes lock on the neck wound, unable to look away as his legs tremble with slow, deliberate steps toward the open cell door. Somewhere deep down he knows that this isn't the end. There can be no end for the nameless man, no first or last, no alpha or omega. It just goes on and on forever like this. The nameless man is not inside himself. There is a word for this. Depersonalization. The person who taught him this word is Gabriel. The thought stings, but somehow he knows it's true, even as he floats above the whole scene looking out through the eyes of the posters. Nothing is hidden from God. There is no here or there, no end or beginning. God's just making it all up as he goes. The book says things like, I am that I am. The book doesn't make perfect sense. So what does he do, a nameless man trying to make sense out of God's sense? He turns away from God. He goes inside the posters, gets a little perspective. He takes a look at this. What is actually happening in real life makes a strange kind of sense. Time must be progressing. There must be some reason for all of this. There must be some kind of purpose, some kind of payoff. And it's just out of reach, but he'll get there, because God tells him a lie so elaborate that it lasts forever. In the course of things, he's murdered his only friend. Naughty. The lie is shattered. Drip. He sees everything that the posters see. He begs God to hide it from him just a little longer, but love can only glue together an illusion for so long. God doesn't owe him any favors after what he's done. The drugs have worn off. The veil is lifted. If he could handle reality, if he could truly stand the taste of this, he wouldn't need God. What's the difference? He's completely bed-shitting insane. The posters know all about him. Shh, Tony! It's me, Tony! Don't forget! It's gonna be okay! Don't forget! The voice doesn't sound like the voice at all. Nobody's startled. He finds himself back inside the nameless man's forehead, rocking back and forth on his unsteady legs. Whoa, he says to no one in particular. He takes another step, sees the open door coming closer to him. Another step, then one of his knees buckles against his weight. He tries to fight it, but a violent tremor in his thigh sends him sprawling on hands and knees. He slips in the fresh blood, painting overlong shapes of his fingers all over the hardwood floor. He can't get up. He isn't in control. The dead body lies right next to where the nameless man struggles. Gabriel's face is turned toward him at an unimaginable angle with no throat muscles. The neck looks like a discarded snakeskin. The mouth yawns, frozen in a dopey grimace. The eyes are still open, but they no longer sparkle. The nameless man feels a surge of terror and pain exploding his heart, imagines his own throat being cut over and over, and hears himself saying, "I'm so sorry, Gabriel. Even if I go to hell, I'm sorry." Before he can finish, his stomach tries to force itself out through his mouth. The gag seizes him, and he retches twice, but only saliva comes out. Drip. His arms and legs push against the floor. Gravity forces him back down. Finally, he gives in. Lying in the pool of blood, he feels his hand reach toward the crude plastic knife. As he holds it, for once he feels like he can control himself. The knife is his tool. He is lucid. This is real. He fucked up. There is no escape. The nameless man is insane. That's it. That's the whole story. He's paranoid, delusional, hearing voices, and he just killed a good man to escape from a mental hospital. He has committed the ultimate unforgivable evil. He forces his thoughts into words and says, "Forgive me, God. Forgive me, Gabriel. Everyone, just please forgive me." His own voice sounds foreign. The posters seem to notice it too. The voice responds. "And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat upon it, from whose face the earth and heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them." He begins sawing through his own skin with the crude plastic weapon. Fresh, warm blood flows from the split skin of his wrists, snaking down his elbows and dripping to the floor. Blood on blood. Drip. "The end and the beginning," the voice echoes. "The first and the last." Drip, drip. Several blood vessels leak and smear over his skin. The pain is meaningless. He has gone out of bounds from pain and pleasure, truth and illusion, good and evil. Still he slices, slashes, hacks into himself, stinging numbness with stinging numbness. It will end soon. He grips the small plastic scythe with numb fingers. They loosen and the weapon slips like a wet soap bar. He keeps picking it up somehow. As long as he keeps cutting deeper into his thigh, his neck, his wrists, as long as he keeps going, even as everything throbs and breaks down, it's all gonna be over soon. It must end. It has to end. The nameless man can feel a silent presence. Not the voice, but the source of the voice, closer than ever. And it breathes courage into him, everlasting love, the sweetness in life, overflowing his senses like some kind of ultimate superdrug. Oh, I never thought it could feel this good, nobody thinks. Everything is going to be okay. Thank you, God. I've missed you so badly. I'm ready to come home. These thoughts flow gently, without effort. Each passing second, death feels more welcome, more attractive. Blood flows from his body, air from his lungs, tears from his eyes. He is escaping from the prison after all. It's all a dream. All this terror and suffering is nothing but a dream. He feels a sense of peace, the weight of his body falling from him. In that moment of cosmic detachment, he has the funny thought that when a man with no memories dies, he has no life to flash before his eyes. But this thought proves false. He sees it all in one moment, outside of time, as presumably all the cells of his brain fire off one final time. The future, the past, all of space and time are revealed to him, and he understands that it is indeed going to be okay, just like it was for oatmeal. In the end, everything is okay because it was only a story, and the story's over now, forever. The posters are gone, the nameless man is gone, and still, something that was always there remains, watching.